Hello and welcome back to Football Kentron, the only English language podcast dedicated to Armenian football. This is going to be a little bit of a different episode today. It's going to be more of a quick take. Armenia just got off the back of a fantastic 1-1 draw against the FIFA World Cup runners-up Croatia. And we are actually recording immediately after the game is done. And just to give you guys our quick thoughts on how the match went. So the format of this episode is going to be, we're going to go over the team sheets. We're going to discuss 3 things we liked from the match, 3 things we didn't like from the match, and 3 improvements we would like to see for the next game. So let us start out with the starting lineups. Charents, who started for Armenia?
For Armenia, started Adamyan and Barseghian up top, 2 strikers. We had on the right midfield Babayan along with Spertsian and Grigorian in the center. On the left side, we had Bayramyan. Behind him, Kamo Hovanesyan with Chalisir and Voskanyan at center back, and Derderyan starting as right back. Yurchenko, as always, in goal.
Okay, so this is a typical 4-4-2 that we're seeing from Kaparos right now. Let's just very quickly go into the starting 11. Derderyan at right back from Arada Armenia, as we had previously discussed in our last episode, came in to make his debut, and Babayan was curiously starting the match, which considering he was a late addition due to injuries, a little bit weird. And Spertsian got his first start, and we are seeing Barseghian try to work up top with Adamyan. Of course, that seems to be a type of experimental thing to see if that could work. Kamo Hovanesyan at left back was our captain for the day, and Daron Voskanyan came in for Haroyan, who said yesterday in the press conference that he would be unavailable for this match. All right, let's talk opposition. Now, for the FIFA World Cup runners-up, Armen, how did they start?
Goalkeeper was Livakovic, defense left back Perisic, Khaled Arkar in central back with Demagoj Vida, and Versaliko in the right back. Midfield was 3 midfielders in Vlasic, Brozovic, and Modric. Scary midfield. And up top, goal scoring. Yeah, it's scary. And up top, goal scoring Ivan Perisic. Up top in the box, number 9, Andrej Kramaric. We know him very well. And on the right side, Brecalo. That's
crazy scary lineup. I mean, these guys play for Inter, Real Madrid, Wolfsburg, Hoffenheim doesn't have that much bite. Vida, who plays for Besiktas, but he's obviously a super experienced central defender. I mean, wow! Like we knew that this team is like they get to final tournaments for a reason, but then when you see a team sheet like this, we're not used to playing a team like this.
No, we're not.
So it was a little bit intimidating when I saw the team sheet. I mean, Brozovic and Modric alone is enough to get me to be very, very worried.
They played their starters.
Yeah. This was, and their manager had said previously, before the match, that he was intending to pull out a very strong lineup, and he said he wanted to make some adjustments in the second half and try out a different formation and try out new players. And of course, Kaparos was doing the same thing. So clearly, this is the time for it. Friendly tournaments and all. So. Let's just quickly go over the match facts. Croatia opened the scoring in the 24th minute via Ivan Perisic, who headed home a cross from a corner kick from Ballon d'Or winner Luka Modric. Deadly combination, and something that we're definitely going to touch upon in a little bit later in this episode. But great goal from Croatia, something that you expect for them to do, and it came from a corner kick and a set piece situation.
Yeah, it was really high the ball, the way it went in.
Yeah, and Armenia, on the other hand, in the second half, in the 72nd minute, equalized through a Wbeymar Angulo rocket of a shot that at this point we're just used to seeing, right? I mean, he did something similar against Estonia, except this one was way better, right?
Yeah, this one was way better. It was higher, and it was on like nearly the top corner.
And I think
it's becoming something of a healthy habit,
you know what? If he can do that every game, I would be happy. I would take it.
Imagine.
Interestingly enough, the goal came from a fantastic combination play between Vahan Bichakjan and Gira Sharoyan, who eventually laid it off to Angulo, who was in acres of space and no one was pressuring him. And you know when that layoff comes and how Angulo sets himself up, he's going to rip that ball. And he really did. It's top 10 Armenia goals for sure, easily. It was fantastic. In terms of overall stats, Croatia, unsurprisingly, dominated possession. They had 68% to Armenia's 32%. Croatia had 19 total shots on target with 19 chances created, while Armenia had 11 shots with 8 chances created. They dominated the passing statistics with an 88% pass accuracy succession, while Armenia had 77% with very little possession. And overall, I think, those spells of 5-10 minutes of possession Armenia had, we kept the ball very well. So great omen there. This is something I wanted to throw to you, Ottoman, and this is something that I noticed from watching the game. There were a total of 27 fouls in this match. How physical was this game?
It was like, you could tell from the beginning, from the way Tiko Parsekian as Armenia's picture, the perfect example was how Tiko would just go and fight for the ball. And it was a hell of a physical game, and both in terms of loose balls, aerial challenges, and strength, but also physical in terms of stamina. Both teams, of course, our side was earlier to get tired, but by the end of the game, you would see how the Croatians got substituted. They would leave the pitch really, really tired, and we're not used to seeing that. So we were up to the challenge.
Yeah, and just to bring some numbers back to Tigran Barsegian was fouled 5 times in this match. He had attempted 7 dribbles and succeeded in 3 of them. I think if he learned to pass a little bit sooner, he would have been a lot more successful in that. Anyway,
he's Tiko.
Yeah,
what are you gonna do?
Tiko. I know we're learning. We're learning slowly. All right, so time to get into part 1, which is our likes. First takeaway, thing that we overall liked about Armenia's performance. Could be the team, could be an individual player. Chadens, what is one thing that you really liked from Armenia today?
I love the aggressive style of play and the work rate that we gave for this team and for this match specifically. For these past few games, we've been developing this kind of style, but this game, I was not expecting to be this aggressive, this confident, and we managed it very well.
Yeah, like you said, despite the little possession that we had in this game, Armenia managed to shut down a lot of the spaces, force Croatia back several times, and force them into long ball situations, which they succeeded in, unfortunately, several times in getting possession at the top of our box from a long ball. But again, that aggressive style of play kind of forced Croatia into taking shots from far out, and which are just ballooning. They're getting them off target. Ottoman, what are your thoughts on Armenia's style of play and their work rate?
Well, I think it's like an effect, a consequence of what I constantly talk about, which is mentality. That's the one important piece of the puzzle that was missing for us to get the results we're seeing. And that's what Caparros brought to the table. We needed it from outside, then so be it, whatever it takes. And we're seeing the mentality we've always dreamt of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that is our second point, the personality that the team is showing. Something that, we know as Armenians, we know how we are as a people in general. And it's not even generalizing, but we all have very strong personalities. And that's something that we had never seen translate onto the pitch. But I guess, it takes the right manager to do it. So
exactly. And actually, in the post-game press conference, I want to bring to the table one of Caparros' quotes, which is, even the guys that didn't play today had a role in the team. We are a family, and I love that. It's not a jab at any particular individual, but really, you want players that just are there for you. You know, whether they play or not, that's want the best for the team.
Mhm.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and our third point from our likes, I would say it's the calming presence of the youth players. In the second half, we saw an injection of youth with the substitutions of Garen Melkonyan, of Vahan Bichakjian, and of Jira Sharoyan, who came in. Also, Jordi Ararat, he's still 25, relatively young. Wbeymar Angulo is a little bit more mature, near the middle of his career. But those three youth players that I had mentioned, who are all future stars of Armenian football, Football Kentron stamped and approved, were honestly, I mean, one of the things that I've felt when I'm watching Armenia play is every single time one of our players receives the ball in the center of the park, I get scared that they're going to miscontrol it and it's going to lead to a counterattack and the team's going to score. But every time Vahan picked the ball up in the midfield, oh my God, was like
amazing.
You would think this kid was like 35, had played his whole career at like Real Madrid or something, kind of like the guy on the other side of the team. And same with Jira Sharoyan. I mean, again, this kid never shies away from a back heel, and he was like turned 3-4 defenders several times, was always relieving pressure, and that's something that we don't really see often until now.
Bro, do you happen to recall during this game he received a ball like that was from halfway through the other side of the pitch, and he just controlled it like it's nothing,
Yes, I know exactly which pass you're talking about.
And he was even marked like from a couple feet distance from his mark, and it's not like he was free or anything, and he still did it. It's insane.
And Vahan picked up the ball in the midfield on two or three occasions, and he dribbled past like two or three players.
Yeah,
like very easily.
Yeah,
and it seemed like there was a formation shift when they were brought on. It seemed like Melkonyan was the lone striker up top, and Tigran Barsegan was pushed over to the right side, where I think he belongs. Anyway, so those were our three things that we liked from this match. That would be the team's personality, the aggressive style of play and their work rate, and the calming presence of the youth players. Now, let's move on and shift our focus to things that we didn't really like from this match. I'll start. So the one thing I really didn't like from this match was our lack of an aerial presence. The goal, Croatia's only goal in this match, came from a corner kick and came from very poor marking from Derderian.
Very poor.
And
three players didn't mark one player.
And it was a free header, and like you said, several players didn't.
Babayan as well.
Exactly, and this is something that obviously Armenia doesn't have the height. We're not Nordic. We don't have that Iceland height. It's just not who we are.
Bro, with a little organization, you can fix that or at least improve it.
Yeah. It's not the first time we're seeing this issue. It's not the first time.
Babayan is over a meter. Babayan is over 1.80 meters tall. It's not that he's short.
That's 6 feet for anyone watching, for anyone listening in America.
Yeah, from the wrong side of the world. How would you measure height with feet? Like my feet are huge, bro.
We don't have time to get into this debate.
That doesn't count. Okay, now for real though, Babayan is relatively tall, especially for Armenian. He can cover the average European player, but it's not that he just wasn't there today.
Yeah, the positioning, it's not only on the defensive end, it's on the offense too. Whenever we're doing those outlet over the top passes to try to relieve pressure or to try to get hold up play. I mean, these other players are a lot taller and they have a lot more of an aerial presence than we do. Barsegan lost, I think, like 5 aerial duels in this match. So, and he was the main outlet, him and Sako Adamian, who was subbed off at halftime. So unless you have a player like Miranian, who is obviously a lot taller, a lot more of a physical presence, and is used to holding up the ball, I think we need to maybe play the ball on the ground a little bit more. But that's just my 2 cents. All right. Well, Armen, what's one thing you dislike?
Yeah, as a general, I would go a little further and say set pieces as a whole. Organization, and to be fair, I mean, it makes sense because Caparrós is trying out things, and when you try out stuff, it's natural that some ain't gonna go your way. You know what I mean? And still, I can see the improvement from previous years.
Definitely. There was definitely improvement. Challenge, what are your thoughts on that?
I think passing efficiency, we didn't really like. It's again related to what you guys are saying with the set pieces and organization. Like passing comes through that as well. It's sometimes dependent on the players as well to be able to be more clinical when going to the final third. We had a few moments. 2 or 3 moments, it could have been better. The pass was too strong, or it was too late. But it's things that can be worked on.
Or it was non-existent in Barcelon's case.
Or that in the first half.
I was gonna say about this particular issue in attack, because we know that some defenders maybe some defenders don't pass the ball that well, but in the attack, and I'm referring especially about Horik, Bayramian, Sako Adamian, and Tiko Barsekyan that are like don't envy the best in the world if they're fit. Today they weren't all that fit. They were either playing too much because Tiko is still playing for his club and is very tired, or like Horik and Sako were a little out of practice, a little out of rhythm.
Yeah.
And
Sako was in Italy. He was on vacation in Italy.
Yeah, I mean both are a problem, and still both decided to show up for the team. But that doesn't always translate into efficiency, as we saw today. And when the substitutes came in, well, you saw it.
Exactly the point I was about to make. The substitutes brought in a little bit more of a variety in passing. The over-the-top balls across the center, short, quick combination passes, or more dribbling to try to open up the options. Just those little things that Bichakchian, that Muradian, that Giro brought.
Yeah, and you know what, bro? I was gonna say about this when those substitutes you're talking about, they did not just have like something to prove and the quality to back it up. Not just that, but the third very important component that was missing in our starters today. That is, those players that came off as substitutes, Vahan and the Armenian Premier League guys, were in perfect form, were in perfect shape. They didn't just play like yesterday or the day before, or it's not like they haven't played for months or weeks. They had the perfect rhythm, and that's it. Just perfect.
And that's something that you can credit to Kaparos, and that he's so good with. Like, he knows that he doesn't have to start the best players because he knows that there is so much value in bringing talent on from the bench like that.
Yep, that's team management.
Yeah, and that's something that we're not used to until him. So let's move on to our third and final segment, which are improvements that we would like to see. Let's start with you, Chadens. What is one improvement you would like to see in the next match against Sweden?
Play the hell out of the young players. As at least 2 players should start, especially now that when we have the opportunity to, with these friendly games, to make as many substitutions as possible, to start anyone we can or we want. We might as well just use the opportunity with the young kids and give them the confidence boost ready for September.
Yeah, I really wanted to see, and this was one of the disappointing things for me, was by the time Sharoyan and Bichakchian got on the pitch, Spertian was off. And I want to see those 3 play together. I really, really want to see those 3 play together. But alas, it hasn't happened yet. Maybe it will. I know, Armen, you pointed out in the last episode that the under-21 players have a competitive match in a few days' time. I believe it's 2 days after Sweden. So I still think there may be a chance that they start. What do you think?
Well, we still have some players that could use the play time. Of course, players like Giro are insanely important, as we saw today with his beautiful assist, as well as he was the game changer in general. But yeah, this is an important official game we're talking about for the U21. So I would prioritize him flying back to wherever the U21 is gathering.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think
I know it's not what you wanted to hear, but
I know it's not what I want to hear, but I still think Giro is still young. He has so much energy that I think it's very likely he'll play at least 20 minutes. I just can't. I think what's better warm up than playing against
oh,
a
true. No,
world-class
that's
team
true.
like Sweden, you know?
Well, yeah, and as a super sub, he could work like maybe 20, 15 minutes. Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Well, let's see. We hope. Moving on. I would want to see better quality in the final ball. That last pass, that last shot, that final decision, I think lacked a lot of quality today. I think one of the ones that stick out in my head in the second half, right at the end of the game, Tigran Barseghian went on another insane run. I think it was like his third insane run of the game, and he had an option to lay it off to Vahan or to try to put Garen Melkonian through, and he ended up like freezing, you know, and that just seemed to be very symbolic of what happens to us when we get in that final third. And the days that it works well together and meshes, those rare occasions, that's when we see the Denmark 4-0 or the Gibraltar 6 goals, you know? We need to be a little more consistent with that final ball. What do you guys think?
I think that's very important and true as well, very true. But for that to happen, I need to highlight the importance of having our key players like Tico, Sako, Horik, those type of players that can make a difference against anyone in the world. We need to have those guys fit, like perfectly fit. And today, neither of them were. And not just Tico missing passes or forgetting to pass the ball, Horik missing some passes, Sako doing the same in the first half. Yeah, that's the perfect image. And the same happened with Sako after having an insane game versus Liechtenstein, and then just not being himself and being really tired against Iceland. You need to have them well rested, you know?
Yeah.
Because they need the mental clarity.
All right. Chadens, what do you think?
Well, there's a lot of potential with what we can do, not just as in with the lineups, but the players in general. I mean, I personally see it difficult with how, like let's take your point with Sperzian and Shagoyan and the others. I personally find it difficult with how he's going to mix them all together, because there's a lot of combinations he can bring forth to this team. But I have high hopes that Kaparos will figure out something.
Look, man, if there's anyone that could do it, I swear it's this guy. He's figuring some. He's making. Okay, he's making. And I know Armin is gonna hate that I'm saying this, but Daron Voskanian just played 90 minutes against Croatia, and we drew 1-1. What do you have to say about that one, huh? What do you have to say about that one?
Nothing.
Not exactly. Well,
facts. Those are facts.
To our third improvement, what do you got for us, Armin? What's an improvement that you would like to see in the immediate future?
Aside from Daron, well, yeah, more. I think it relates to what you guys were saying, and as always, everything has to do with everything. We need better quality on and more shots on goal, and for that to happen, we need better quality in the in every pass. We need pass efficiency, because as we saw today, one of the best shots on goal we had was the goal from Wbeymar that was from outside the box. And we need to have better filtered passes like the ones Horik, Sako, and Tico missed today. So another thing to work on.
Yeah, I agree. I think more, and it's just all of these things that we're saying are kind of playing together. You know, it's overall, we just need to see that one extra step, you know, that one better decision. It can change everything. It really can.
And that's what the team is working for. And we are, you said it like a couple minutes ago. If there's someone who can do that, it's Don Joaquin. I think so. Yeah, fuck it. We're ready. We're getting better. We're getting better every single game. I'm so optimistic. You have no idea.
Well, on a completely unrelated note, nothing related to this game at all, but I just read it, so I feel like I have to say this, and this might get some people a little excited. So apparently, Arsene Zakharyan, who was called up for the Russia squad for the Euros, apparently got the flu.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we know. Yeah.
And he's going to be missing not only Russia's friendly with Poland, but apparently the entire tournament.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that ain't no flu.
In a weird way, there may be some hope.
Oh, no, don't go there. I honestly, because he's clearly not going to play for us, bro.
I might have been watching the game, though.
He would have, yeah, I mean, having a 17-year-old Armenian play a Euro would have been sick, would have been insane.
So, okay, guys, that was it. I think that pretty much sums up our immediate thoughts on the game. We will be doing something similar for the Sweden match, but I think that one, that one, it will probably be out next week. I don't think we're going to rush too much to get that one out. But is there any final thoughts, guys?
I don't know.
So much.
A lot, yeah.
Bro,
but I just hope...
we just drew against the World Cup runners-up.
Yeah, it's I don't know, man. I can't. I don't know what to say. I think something we should also highlight: 9 games now undefeated, with 6 wins and 3 draws. This was our first draw. Going. This was our first draw without Henrik. And it was against Croatia. So I think that's it for us today at Football Kentron. Please don't forget to like, share, retweet, favorite, all that good stuff on the social medias for us. And we will be back next week to wrap up the national team camp and the match against Sweden that is on Saturday. So, guys, thank you for joining me. This has been a wonderful day. I'm probably going to rewatch this game again to try to get a little bit better feeling of what's happening. But
on to victory.
On to victory.
That's so amazing.
All right, man, I'm speechless. Anyway, on behalf of Chadens and Armin, I am Adam, and thank you for listening and joining us today on Football Kentron. We're out.